Hi, my name is Anna and I am the owner of the small business AMarieEcoSew. In today's video, I am going to do a little challenge where I make as many reusable dusters as I can in one day. So with my small business, I sell all reusable products such as reusable paper towels, reusable dusters, reusable mop pads, reusable makeup removers, and I also sell some fun stuff like scrunchies and microwave potato bags. But today I'm going to do a little challenge. I like to challenge myself to make as many of one product as I can in one day, and that really helps me with my productivity. And sometimes when I do that, I won't have to make that product up again for weeks, maybe even a month. So today I am doing that with my reusable dusters. This is what they look like. And I hand cut every single one of these. So the main thing about this is that I've never tried to do this. I've done it so far on my YouTube channel with my reusable mop pads and my reusable paper towels. You can check out those videos if you'd like. But with my dusters, I've never even tried, mostly because it really hurts my hand to cut these up for a long time. So I'm just gonna have to really break it up between my tasks and we'll see how it goes. And today is a Friday, so I have my farmer's market tomorrow on Saturday. That means I'll have to stop at a pretty decent time because I have to go to bed early tonight and I need to pack up my tote and pack up my car. Along with my problems with my hands getting sore from cutting this and having to pack up, we'll see how long of a day it actually is. The time right now is 8:50 a.m. so we're getting a decently early start. But before we start, I do just want to give a disclaimer because there seemed to be some misunderstanding on some of my earlier challenge videos. This is not a tutorial video. I'm not saying that I will never make a tutorial video for these, but I am a small business. My main goal is to make and sell my product. So if you want to buy any of my products that I've mentioned, I do have my website linked below. There are tons of tutorials out there about how to make a reusable duster, but that is just not what my goal is today. I'm trying to make as many of these as possible to stock up for my small business. So if you are looking for a tutorial, you can just go ahead and click off now. You won't hurt my feelings. But I know quite a few of you guys have asked for them before, so I just might make one. Unfortunately, today is a kind of rainy, gloomy day, so the lighting might not be great throughout this video, but I'm going to try my best. And just for full transparency, I do have quite a few reusable dusters already cut. This is one stack. And this is another. So I am going to be making all of these up as well. And then there are a bunch that I'm going to cut up and make too. I have no idea how many I'm going to be able to make in this challenge, but if you want to place your guess down below, go ahead and place your guess for how many you think I will make in the comments, and I will reveal the answer in the end. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Also, I sew with a mask on because of the dust that gets kicked up from my fabric. I get a lot of comments about that as well, so I am just going to put that out here. That is the reason that I sew with a cloth mask on. I am still very new to YouTube and I have already learned so much, and one of those things is that the smallest things can set people off. I got probably a dozen comments calling me an idiot whenever I didn't explain why I wear a mask while sewing. So I guess that is a mistake that I will never make again. It is 9:30 a.m. and I have sewn up quite a few. I'm gonna go ahead and start trimming them and cutting them and stuff. But like I said, it kind of hurts my hands a lot to make these over a long period of time. So a lot of this is just going to be me sewing in short intervals and then cutting the, like all the little, I don't even know what to call them, all the little flaps. I don't know. I cut down vertically like this. And so it's just gonna be a lot of me going back and forth of sewing for short spurts and then cutting the dusters for as long as I can manage, and then going back to either sewing or cutting more duster fabric. The sewing is actually probably the shortest part, maybe the cutting the fabric initially, like whenever I cut it from the big, like yards of fabric, the whole pieces. But this is definitely the most tedious part. It is just, it takes forever. I honestly probably need a new pair of scissors. I've had these for years. I actually tried to get a new pair like a year or two ago, but I really didn't like them. They are harder to cut with these ones. So now I'm like, oh, I'm scared to buy a new pair because what if they're even worse than these? Which these ones are good. It's just that, like I said, I've had them for years and I only use them as fabric scissors. Of course, anybody who sews knows that you do not use your fabric scissors for anything other than fabric. It's to the point where if my boyfriend needs to use a pair of scissors, because I have fabric scissors and non-fabric scissors in my sewing room, he always asks me, is this one okay to use? Which is good because he'd be in big trouble if he used these scissors specifically. My other fabric scissors, less so, because like I said, they didn't really work as well. I still use them and everything, and it's nice to have a second pair on hand, and they work on these in a pinch. So it's not like they don't work, it's just they hurt my hands a lot faster. I don't know what brand these are. I got the, oh, they're Singer brand. I have a Singer sewing machine as well, and I do not recommend it. I have the Singer heavy duty sewing machine and it does the job and it's much better than the one that I had before, but it is not like, if you're buying a heavy duty sewing machine, it is not what I would recommend to you. I always tell you guys what I'm watching whenever I'm working because a lot of this work is just tedious work. So I throw something on the TV in the background. That's how I get through a lot of audiobooks. That's how I get through a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies. But today I'm going to be watching the Netflix limited series Sirens. So I started watching it a few days ago. I haven't really had a whole lot of time to watch it. My boyfriend and I always like to be watching a show together, and together we are watching I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. So that one is more of just like a fun comedy show, but I wasn't sure if he would like something like Sirens, so I started watching it myself, but I'm kind of like, ooh, if this ends up good, I might have to show it to him too. I kind of vet TV shows and movies and stuff before I show him because I have so much more time to consume media on my hands. I'm not gonna check in a ton throughout this because it's really gonna be a lot of the same, but I might check in like hourly. I'm gonna have to eat something soon. I haven't had breakfast yet, and we went to Pasta House last night and I have leftover lasagna, and I don't know, I might just skip breakfast and have that in like 30 minutes because if you've watched my other any vlogs or anything that I've made, you would know that non-breakfast food, there is no limit to what time I will eat it. I eat garlic bread at 9 a.m. I have had tamales at my farmers markets at like 8 a.m. would have been whenever I have them, because that's right when the market starts. So like 7:45, 8 a.m., great time for a tamale. I know that can be controversial. Me and my college roommates always debated over what time you can eat lunch. And my philosophy is the time that you eat lunch depends on what time you wake up. So I think that having lunch within 2 hours of you waking up, completely acceptable. That is just my opinion. If you disagree, that's totally fine. But I'm going to get off here, turn on Sirens, and just focus on making these up. I really have no idea how many dusters I'm gonna make today, but I am going to put in my own guess, or my own goal at least. I wanna make at least 100. So my other 2 videos that I've made that are similar to this were me challenging myself to how many reusable paper towels that I could make in a day, and challenging myself to make 100 reusable mop pads. So I wanna make at least 100 of these, but I'm not gonna, if I hit 100 and it's like 2 p.m., I'm not gonna stop. I'm going to keep going. So I don't really know. Maybe I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint, and around noon, maybe I'll tell you how many I have made up so that you can place your guesses a little bit more accurately. But yeah, I will check back in with you guys shortly. It is now 11:11 a.m. and I did a lot of finishing off. These are all of the ones that I have officially finished. And then whenever my hand got really tired, I went back to my sewing machine and I sewed a bunch more as well. These are all of the ones that I have sewed, and I'm going to sit and work on these again until my hands get tired. And I do have to meet my sister with something in a little bit, so that'll take a little bit of time out, but it'll be okay because as you can see, it takes way less time for me to sew them than it does for me to finish them off. I kind of need to find things to do intermittently between so that I don't just absolutely destroy the tendons in my hand and my wrist. I'm going to continue finishing those off, and like I said, around noon I will give you guys an update on exactly how many I have totally finished. I actually ended up finishing Sirens on this day, and I really liked it. I liked the twist at the end, and I really like anything that's like really, really rich people and a lot of drama. It is 12:06 p.m. I just got back from dropping that off that I needed to drop off with my sister, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I have officially finished 42 reusable dusters, so that'll give you a little bit more context as to how quickly I can make them. I will probably be doing this until 5 or 6 p.m. So if you want to place your guess, this is I guess it's not your last chance. I won't know if you place it later, but this is when I would recommend taking an educated guess of what you think the amount that I will be able to make in one day is in the comments. I have a bunch made up as well, probably like 15 more that just need to be cut. And I'm almost through all of my pre-cut stash, so I will need to start cutting some new fabric soon, so I'm gonna get back to finishing them off. Okay, it is now 1:15 p.m., so I'm slowly making my way through the day, and this is what we've got made up so far. So I have sewn, I have sewn all of my pre-cut fabric that I showed you guys at the beginning, so I need to cut up some more. I have almost all of it trimmed and finished off like this, but I just have a few more, but my hand is really starting to hurt. Yeah, you can kind of see there the little red mark. That's right where my scissors sit, and yeah, my hand is getting really sore, so I am going to cut up some of this fabric. I had you guys vote on my Instagram stories on a poll to vote for which fabrics I should release next, and I did 4 different polls of 4 different styles of fabrics, and these are the ones that won out. Other than this one is just a pattern that I need to restock, so I'm gonna get to cutting those up. Don't mind how messy my sewing room is. I am definitely not a type A person. My boyfriend is really into the Myers-Briggs test, and he always tells me how much of a P I am, whatever that means. I am an ENFP, so if you're one too, let me know. It's 12:14 p.m. and I'm starting to get hungry again. So after I cut a couple of dusters, I'm going to make myself a turkey sandwich, and I always like to have some fruit with my meal. I am somebody that has to have dessert with everything. And no, I don't necessarily consider fruit a dessert, but I find that if I have like a piece of fruit after my meal, then I won't eat as big of a dessert because sometimes the sweets craving is just like insatiable. So I'm gonna have a bowl of cherries as well, and then probably some Dove chocolate. I cut up a couple of the patterns of the dusters that I am releasing new by the time this video goes out. They will be available on my website, and pretty much all of the patterns that I'm making throughout this are available on my website, unless you're watching it like months later after it's been posted. I cut some of those up, and then I also sewed some of them. I'm gonna finish these, and then I will make myself a sandwich and cut some more. I really thought that I was gonna run out of things to do in between this cutting with the scissors, because you can see my hand is starting to get sore, and honestly this wrist is getting sore too from like holding it. Yeah, I don't know, I wasn't really expecting that, but I do think that I will get all the way to 5 or 6 p.m. I was worried that I'd have to quit like at 3 or 4, but I still have 2 orders to pack as well and a trip to the post office, so all of those things are something that I can do intermittently in between cutting these. So that really gives me a little bit of a break between. It's 3 p.m. now, and my mom just asked me if I could let out her dog. So before I do that, I've got 2 orders to pack, and I'm gonna hit the post office on my way there. I have my 2 orders packed, and I'm gonna head to the post office, head to let my mom's dog out, and I might get something to drink on the way. I made it to the post office and I'm really starting to get kind of tired. Whenever I make the same product all day long, I kind of get fatigued on that product, and I really want a soda, but I try not to have too much caffeine or sugar on Fridays because I know I have to go to sleep early so that I can wake up early. So I think I'm gonna resist, but it's finally starting to hit me. Okay, I am finally back. It is 3:52 p.m. I don't have any more errands to run. I don't need to eat again until much later. So I am gonna work full steam ahead until at least 5:30. I have a little stack that needs to be cut up still, and then I will need to sew some more and cut some more fabric as well. I really wanted to get a lot more new prints. So far I've only worked on 2 brand new prints, and I wanted to do 4, so I still want to do those, so I'll have to cut those up. And I wanted to restock one of my prints that I already have available too, my paw print one, and I need to cut some of those up, so better get to work. It is 5:10 p.m. This is everything that I have made up so far that I've made today. I'm going to make those ones that are back there, and then I think I'm going to be finished for the day. If you look at my thumb, I definitely am getting a little bit of like a mark there, and it hurts quite a lot. So I think I'm gonna give my hands a rest and call it a night for the dusters after I finish those ones back there. Like I said at the beginning, all of this was filmed on a Friday, but what I didn't mention is that I actually left out of town that following Monday, and I didn't come back until the next Friday night. So that means that I had no work days between my 2 farmers markets. So I think that's another reason why I was getting really mentally tired on this day. I didn't end up packing up for my trip until Sunday night, and I had a bridal shower Sunday during the day. I would love to retry this challenge again sometime along with some of my other challenges, because I really think that I can beat this one. Okay, it is 5:56 p.m., so it's about 6 p.m. I started working on this at around 9 a.m., and this is everything that I have made up. Honestly, I really thought that I was going to be able to do a little bit more, but I really experienced a lot of hand fatigue and everything. And sorry that the lighting is so bad. It is still so gloomy outside and it's nighttime now, but this is everything. And the final amount that I was able to make today was 110 reusable dusters. So that is amazing. That will stock me up for at least a few weeks, and I'm really excited about that I won't have to make any for a little while. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like, and if you want to see more videos in the future, go ahead and subscribe if you would like. And if you want to try out one of the reusable dusters for yourself, my website is linked in the description. Let me know what kinds of videos and challenges you want to see in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that everybody has a lovely day. Bye!